Restart Visual Studio to apply the latest change. Yeah, go ahead and do that since we're kicking off. You can update it. What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining. It's John and Jessie. Jessie in the house.
Woo-woo.
So we are on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, all the places, TikTok. If you're on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see the whole screen, so check me out on YouTube or Twitch. Those are the ones I really recommend. And yeah, got the chat open, so feel free to drop questions. But we're going to take off with what Jessie's working on, and that is she is building this plain HTML blog. It's open source, so you can check it out on GitHub. Jessie Vanderveer is her GitHub username, so you should be able to find it. And yeah, last time around we put the GitHub pages URL in the README and in the about, so you can see the code, and then you can also see like the deployed version. And it's super impressive because we already have green text, right? Cool. All right, yeah, and that's it. Thank you so much for showing that.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Yeah. What are we doing next?
All right. So we were really getting into the gradients where we left off last. And so we were going to actually be trying to update this site here to actually represent the gradient here. And we haven't even, as you can see with the one pending change here, I don't even think we actually pushed this quite yet. I think we just kind of saved where we were at with this. So I think the main question right now is like, do we even want this color, and are we good to move forward?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. So this file is not saved. You can tell by the circle in the file tab. Do you want to spend 5 minutes and like get a pretty looking gradient? I'm cool to do that if you want, or you can just delete it and we can keep the bisque or like a white or something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of cool to actually add on here. So I think that right now it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to have the bisque and the orange colors going on, but I could even add a third one if I wished. Is that true?
Yeah. So linear gradient, you can put like multiple steps and it'll fade from one to the other. And if you want to, there's like these like preview tools that make it a lot easier to get a cool looking gradient. I would recommend we use that if you want to use more than just 2 steps.
Yeah, a preview. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so just Google like CSS Gradient Maker.
This is like MySpace, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Christopher Boyles says, do you deal with React every day, my boy?
This is so tight.
I was, Jess, it's going to be up to you, but I was thinking maybe the last 10 or 15 minutes of today's stream, you could chill with me while I work on something. And so you can get like a glimpse into the future.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That'd be awesome.
I think you're going to be blown away at how much you can already understand.
Well, that would be a first. So I'm down. I'm down to make that day today. Anyway, I am really digging this gradient tool you've shown me like so much that I'm going to come back for sure. And yeah.
CSSgradient.io. You know they're legit when they got the .io.
Ooh.
What's my Latterly site?
Latterly.io. I was just thinking about that, but you know, I'm such a noob that I'm over here like, but why though?
Yeah, so IO means input output.
Ah, okay.
So it's like you put something into a function and you get something out of the function. It's like IO. Basically, all programming at the end of the day is creating an input output device. Like you want people to be able to do something and then get some result.
That's tight.
Christopher says, do you do a live when coding in React? I do that often. So we may or may not get to React today, but you can check out my YouTube. There's like hella live coding videos, seriously. And yeah, follow the channel because we'll definitely, like I do that every week, if not multiple times a week.
All right, well, I'm kind of digging where I'm at with this gradient. So
Cool. Let's grab it. Let's grab the code then.
Let's do that. So it looks like this.
That is only the hex for the currently selected color.
So
you might want to either click this is okay or no customize, because like the cookie thing is like blocking some shit. The CSS is actually below if you want the full CSS code.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, you see? So that's the literal CSS code.
So it literally lets me just copy it. So,
yeah.
So background, okay.
And you want both of those lines. So it's already on your clipboard, and when you paste it, it'll work. But just to explain why you want both of these lines, linear gradient is an advanced browser feature. So like older browsers like IE8 do not have it. So the way CSS works is it will process your rules in the order that it reads them, from left to right, top to bottom. So it's going to process the first rule on line 1. It's going to process that first. And then the second rule is going to override it, but only if the browser allows that. And so if the browser doesn't have linear gradient, it'll just get stuck with the line 1.
Oh, okay. Okay. Makes sense. Anyway, so yeah, I think we should probably delete this whole thing right here.
Yeah, just grab it and select it, yeah, and paste over it. Jack Gammer, thank you so much for the likes. Thank everyone for the likes. So we're already over 1.5K likes on TikTok. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
It blows my mind how like I can have one person on YouTube, one person on Twitch, and like already over 20, and then maybe we might get over 50 on TikTok. There's just like so many people on TikTok. It's cool.
I mean, I'm definitely surprised. I love the whole networking aspect of it, though, especially like the fact that platforms can help people actually learn to code. Is anyway.
For real.
Hopefully, I can meet some of these people. Maybe they can teach me some things too. But for now, how do you think this is looking? I think this looks pretty good.
Looks great. Yeah, save it, and then the auto formatter should kick in. Boom. So it formats it all prettier. And yeah, so let's go check your browser page and see how it looks.
Let's do that.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think you're gonna find out those colors are too dark, but let's go see.
I'm pretty sure this would not update here, you know.
Yeah, so this is on GitHub. So
my bad.
Yeah, you'll have 2 files. One is local, one is remote. While you're opening that, Gustav says, do you teach Python? I do. It's not my #1 recommendation, but if you're dead set on Python, I can teach you Python. Cool. So
go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think about it? So I think it's a little dark for the black font, but if you wanted to use a white font, maybe it could work.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well, but I'm also like with you on, I think I got too much going on here for the text to really be consistently one color. So I think this is like something I should change real quick, like real quick.
Yeah, I think the gradient is fine. I think you just want to lighten it by like 90% to make it actually like a subtle off-white gradient.
Excuse me, to widen it or whiten it?
Whiten it.
Yeah, so I think.
Cool. So you see on this color axis, your dot is located, and this is like 2D color space. So just let's see, how would we fix this to lighten it?
To whiten it when you go towards the white.
Yeah, you want to drop like a diagonal line to that top left corner.
Look at that.
Yeah.
See, I kind of liked the yellow going on, like the tinge of yellow to it.
Yeah, but so grab that and we can just test it until you get stoked with the color. But literally, like even a little bit of a color makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we're just gonna keep it like white, like totally like this for now. I'm actually gonna drop this. Is this possible to like?
Sudrocks is back. What's up, Sudrocks? This person has like some really good design tips. Please don't mind us. We're not designers over here.
Right.
We're gonna try and do a little bit better. That blue still feels super intense, but okay. You want to do a radial?
No.
It's
I
cool.
was looking at it.
Yeah, up to you.
What, the blue is super intense. How can I actually change this?
You see that scrolling, you're accepting cookies, no customize, this is okay. It's in the way, so like click one of those buttons to make it go away.
Oh, your face was in the way of it.
My face was in the way. My bad. I can move my face. Yeah, so those are the 3 colors. So whichever one you want to replace, just click it.
I want this one.
F9, man, and you're doing great because it's Friday. It's Friday. We got a long weekend. Jess, are you working Monday?
No, but I'm working tomorrow.
Gotcha. Yeah, so
Right.
I would just encourage you to get close to that white color.
The white?
Yeah, like make it blue, but only make it like 5 or 10% blue. Because like in the far right is like 100% blue. So it's gonna be really hard to see text on that.
Okay.
So we typically like to have high contrast. It makes it easy for people to read. So high contrast is either going to be like a far right color in 2D color space, which would be like an intense color, and then white and then light text on top of that, or a light color and then dark text on top of that. So
all right. Well, I want a light color like that. What's up with how is that?
So the circle in 2D color space, if you pick that purpley color.
This one?
No, that's just like black basically. Yeah, this is a shade of purple, I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Much better. Yeah. Because you see how the circle was in the middle?
The circle was, yeah, I did, but it's just like this linear gradient looks lame.
You want to make it radial? Make it a radial.
Does that actually do anything?
So this is just my personal preference. Again, not a designer. When I do a radial, I like to have it off to a corner instead of just like a circle in the middle. So that you can move where the circle is and put it in a corner, and I think that looks better.
How can I actually move where that circle is?
Yeah, I'm looking at this CSS gradient thingy, and I'm not sure if they support it.
Whoa. All right. Yeah, I think we should just stick with a linear one. And how does this look as far as the contrast? Like, does it need to be like, is this cool?
Yeah, no. So the first color, the one that's near black, is going to be a huge problem.
That's what. So you want it all to pretty much just be white.
Yeah, like it should just be an off-white color gradient, and that way you can put black text on top of it and see it. Or you can make them all near black and you'll do light text, like white text.
White. Okay, so like if I did black text on top of this, you could still read it though. You know what I mean?
Test it out. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm assuming that has already saved.
CSS3 for the win.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
You're good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with this.
Okay, cool. All right, so what should we do next?
Probably actually, I would just get rid of this and center this.
Cool,
and
let's do it.
Yeah. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this whole portion. We're gonna keep the body tags, but we don't need either of these paragraphs. So is that standard, John? I thought for some reason that you liked to have a line of code between, and I know that VS Code is kind of like doing their own thing, but do you prefer it this way or this way?
Definitely let the formatter take care of it.
Okay. So if I go back over here, we should just see, so what we actually did was get rid of even my blog. Ooh, I can't undo this.
Sure you can. Yeah, just keep pressing Control-Z more times.
Ooh, dang it.
And Control-Y or Control-Shift-Z will move forward in edit space.
So anyway, so this is all up to date, good. And then as far as this goes, I didn't actually mean to delete the H1 there. So the first header we're going to keep.
Sweet.
And then it can format that closed for us. I like just kind of checking this along the way. I'm just going to close this so I stop fucking up completely and go here. All right, so we're going to center this.
Here for it. Let's do it.
Okay. So I would pretty much just, Google this usually, unless you want to like expedite the process.
No, I love your you're like just taking initiative. So go get it, girl.
Let's see. They're like keywords, center, header 1, or something like that, maybe.
H1. Just put H1. Center H1. So technically, it's called an H1, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So the more precise you can get, the better results you'll have.
So this is actually throwing me for a second, but like we're writing in HTML or we're writing CSS in HTML.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true. Guess in chat, girl. The only wrong answer is not searching at all. The only wrong answer is sitting there.
Wait,
cool.
I don't like this. This one.
So while she's searching around, by the dip and hold says, should I go to a coding boot camp? The answer is it totally depends on a number of factors. First of all, you shouldn't go to any boot camp. You would only want to select a prestigious boot camp. So go to coursereport.com, find a boot camp that has a score of 4.25 or higher with a minimum of 400 reviews. I personally prefer boot camps that have a employment guarantee. So as of May 2022, the only one that's high prestige that I'm aware of would be Code Foundry. So plug for Code Foundry. But would you personally want to go to a boot camp? I mean, the question is, you want to do these in the order of return on investment to education. So do you have a degree already? If the answer is yes, you shouldn't need to go to a coding boot camp. If the answer is no, then maybe go to a coding boot camp. But first you would want to ask if you're able to self-teach, and you would only want to go to a coding boot camp if you're having trouble self-teaching. You can also look for a mentor. That's like what Jessie and I are doing here. So mentors can personalize your education in a lot of ways that a boot camp cannot.
Speaking of, I have a question for you on this portion. H1, you're seeing in the text align keyword. Is that an attribute or a feature?
Yeah, so text align is, in this case, it's going to be a CSS rule key. So basically, anytime you have like a colon on the left, we call that a key, and on the right, we call that a value. It's like a key value pair. Yeah.
Okay. And then as you see down here in the actual body tag, it's showing parentheses center, which I did not actually add in mine, and it still resulted in the same kind of function or output or whatever. And I was just wondering why that is.
So let's go back. So the parentheses around the word center.
Oh.
You already got it right.
Wow.
They're not in the CSS. They're in the HTML.
Yeah, I did not even. I was like, why would anybody write that? Okay.
All good, dude. It's like almost 8 p.m. where you're at. I mean, you just had it's like Friday. You did a whole work week and
12-hour shifts. Woo.
Let's go.
Anyway, so I'm kind of thinking that the next thing that I would probably do is actually add. I'm not even sure the name for this, so you might have to help me out. But you're kind of adding an element over here that would be more of like a drop-down feature, like.
Yeah, so you wanted the side menu on the left, right?
Yes, side menu. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Also, you don't have that browser open in Chrome. Like, it's not a big deal, but if I were you, switching back and forth from Chrome is like annoying.
It's just this thing.
Cool. So yeah, like, how do you want to attack this?
Yeah, so I want to add a. Really, I think this is kind of weird that this is a header. I guess that's fine. But I would want to add a side menu, like right here, pretty much.
Cool. Let's do it.
So when you say, how do you want to attack this? I would pretty much just go to Google.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting a div. Oh my. Ooh. Ooh. Hold on. Is there another way? Um.
Div will work. There are other ways too. You could use a nav instead of a div. That would be a little more semantic.
Is that kind of what I'm seeing here? So first of all, it's like saying an animated side navigation. Okay, yeah, definitely. So it's saying first add the HTML, then add the CSS. So if we're adding HTML, I would normally think this is actually going to be in the body.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay. And
oh, by the way, before we do this, let's go ahead and commit the code that we have. These can be separate commits. So they're different concerns is what we call them. It's like we're doing different things. So
yeah.
previously what you were doing is trying to get the gradient, and then the side menu is kind of a different concern. So let's commit them separately.
Let's do that. So we wanted to stage our changes, I thought. So
yep. Plus button.
Thank you.
And then this would be style keyword. It really, the commit messages don't actually matter too much, but if you want my advice, I would say style, lowercase s.
What? I thought you were like grammar.
This is called a conventional commit, so it doesn't matter if you don't want to do this, but it would be a lowercase s, colon. Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Was coding fun for you when you first started? It was kind of a roller coaster. It was fun for like a couple days, and then it was terrible, and then it was awesome when I got a job doing it, and it was way better than my previous job. Suds rocks. Okay, bye. See ya. Thanks for being here.
So
Alex
it did update.
Started with C++. Yeah, don't start with C++. That'll make you cry.
So those changed and saved everything. So now we can jump into actually adding in the side nav.
Let's do it.
So, all right. So pretty much, I would literally copy and paste this, dude. Like,
just like a software developer. Just copy and paste, girl. Cool. Peter dropped 3 roses, my man. Thank you so much.
See, so I actually automatically noticed this where it's having an issue. Do you see the red?
Yeah, so this is not the body tag, so you want it to go inside the body, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you pasted the HTML and the CSS, so the code got pissed off at you, which is actually a good thing. Like, you want it to get pissed when you do dumb stuff.
Yeah, I literally just explained how we're going to add the HTML first in the body, and then what do? So it actually, like, these the side navigation menu, like, what do you call this again?
A comment.
Okay.
So it is syntax that the browser does not evaluate. So you know how like browser can read HTML, browser can read CSS.
Yeah.
Browser does not read comments. It's just text for other developers to read, basically.
Okay.
That's what we call it, a comment. Oh, hey, by the way, you have 2 H1 blocks. You should consolidate those.
I have 2 H1 blocks.
Yeah.
So right here and right here.
Yeah, exactly.
I did not notice that. Thank you.
Love it. Roses, roses.
All right. So I just kind of want to see how this is looking and how that turned out.
Caden says, I'm afraid to start coding because all the job postings I've seen require college. Caden, stop being afraid. Stop. They don't require college. I just heard today you can apply with less experience than in the post. I think that's supposed to be passed. I think that's a typo. Yeah, you don't need a college degree, Caden.
So did you see how terrible that looked?
I did. Why? Why though?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of trying to dive into. So like, in my opinion, I'm looking at it, first of all, the word open and a ... This has no I would normally actually just go straight down to the body and see why it's saying that.
I think you're exactly on the right track.
So.
What is open? What is open?
This.
Yeah.
Use any element to open the side nav. Open nav.
So if you can figure out the problem just from that, awesome. Otherwise, my hint would be read the comments.
Add all page content inside this div. Or inside the comment. I'm literally like.
So these are not all of the comments, like all of the comments. Okay. Like you pasted a bunch of code, right? So like let's read through all the comments.
That's what I'm doing.
Sweet. Caden says, do you know what software dev is such an in-demand job? Asterisk why. So why is software in such high demand? Yeah, I have an explanation for this, although the answer is that there's like a bunch of reasons, but I'll give you one very high-level reason, and that is that the technology industry is a unique industry in the economy that is always responsible for economic growth. Like that's what it means to be technology. So the technology industry is unsurprisingly always in disproportionately high demand because it literally drives growth in the economy, so it's higher value. So there you go. Fly Guy Dev, I joined just to code along with you. My guy, thanks for being here. Drink check, I got Waterloo, watermelon, sparkly water.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, I never noticed that's like 3 waters. Waterloo, watermelon, sparkling water. Scroll up a little bit more. Yes, read all the comments, right? All of them. Oh, you just ran past it. You just ran past it. Why don't you read them out loud and see if that helps? Start at line 18 and read them out loud.
So yeah, we have the side navigation menu, and then we have 100% full height, and then width. Change this with JavaScript.
So that should be your red flag right there.
Yeah.
Because you should be going like, what JavaScript? Because you don't have any JavaScript.
Yeah, definitely. That is, yeah.
So that's the reason your menu doesn't work, is because you didn't copy the JavaScript yet.
How the heck do I'm writing in JavaScript?
So this menu it had CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. It had all 3, but you only copied 2 of them. So that's why it doesn't work.
Hey, I can hear you now, I think.
Okay, dope. So was it cutting out or something?
Yeah, I couldn't. It froze.
Okay, it might be on my side because like I'm streaming and stuff. Anyway, this how-to.js side nav has HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. There's all of it, but you only copied 2 of the 3, so that's why it doesn't work.
So add my, oh, wow.
So CDM asks stack. The answer is this is pure vanilla, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Pure vanilla.
So I'm at a loss on the JavaScript part right now on as far as like, hey, do we put that in the metadata?
In a script tag, that's where JavaScript goes, right?
And what?
In a script tag. Remember we did the console thing? Do you remember that? It's in your code right now. You might have forgotten, but it's there. Look through your HTML tags. Yeah.
I mean, console.
It's 75.
Yeah. Script.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just to refresh, your browser is reading an index.html file. So the browser's like, okay, I need to be speaking in HTML. And then it runs into the style tag. And what the style tag means is everything inside my tag is CSS, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we close the style tag. So the browser's like, okay, I'm back into HTML mode. I'm done with the CSS. 73, we parse the title. This is just HTML. 75, we parse the script. And it's like reading HTML, but what does it mean what it means is everything inside my tag is JavaScript. That's what.
Wow, duh. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks for the breakdown. So,
Very, very welcome.
yeah, this looks good. Let's see how this works out.
Arif, is that your name? RF says, why you use this theme? She picked the one she liked. Fuck off. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, so yeah, that still didn't work though.
That still didn't work though.
Look.
Did you click the open button?
Script.
Click the open button.
Stop. Whoa.
Patience, Padawan. All right, so let's go back to the HTML and double check. Why did this happen? So, oh no, the thing died. I need to get the. It was just a joke. Don't worry. I need to get the premium. Do a new meeting. Join with computer audio. Yes, please. Oh, she's already on top of it. Genius. Do some hacking. Hack into the NSA on TikTok for the lols. All right, I'll make you a deal. If you hang out until the end of the stream, I'll show you how to hack HTML. I'll actually show you how to do it.
Whoa. Hey, let me share my screen, please.
Okay, cool. Boom, enabled. Cool, right? So we got the blog. So when you, before you copied the JavaScript, nothing worked, right? Oh no, can you hear me? Jess, I cannot hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I am so dumb for that. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. You just had a mute button on or something?
Yeah, but I couldn't figure out how to make the floating meeting controls reappear. So, yeah.
Awesome. So before you added the JavaScript, the menu was not working, and then you added it, and then it did work. So my question to you is, why? Why do you think that JavaScript made a difference, and how?
Yeah, great question. So I feel like JavaScript is way more about adding an actual, it's way more complicated. I feel like this is not just design. The background is just the style and the design and everything like that. But this is actually functional. You can click on these, it's interactive. It's more functional. I feel like that's a good word because I feel like this involves more of you telling the computer specifically what to do. Almost you're identifying elements and you're having to actually say, hey, here's a black rectangular box that I want 4 different elements in that I'm able to actually click on that might open as hyperlinks to other tabs. That's a lot of command actually. So I feel like CSS is way more about the actual style elements. And this is more about the features. Now that's just a guess. What do you think?
So that's all correct, 100% I'd agree. But that's all very high level. So my question is at a low level, technically, what happened? So instead of
oh, I copied and pasted JavaScript.
No, go, yeah, but go look at your JavaScript, girl.
I'm looking.
So how does it work?
So you set the width of the side navigation to 250, isn't this pixels?
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
pixels. We're saying, hey, let's actually, so how did we actually do that? Well, we used a JavaScript. Is this correct? We used a JavaScript attribute?
Function.
This is literally, Oh, all of these are functions. So we used a function, and we named it OpenNav.
Yep, OpenNav is the name. That's right.
And is this just a like a very common name? Like,
Kind of. So nav is referring to the element, the HTML element, the nav. You can see the ID is my side nav. Actually, whenever we first saw that and you were like, oh, it's a div, and I was like, well, you could use a nav, right?
yeah.
So there's something we call an abstract concept, and then we have a concrete concept. So the abstract concept for this div is that it is a nav. And what do we mean by abstract? That's like not technically. Like technically it's a div, but not technically it's a nav. In other words, if we're talking in English instead of talking in code. In English, we want this to be a side menu, or what we would call like a side nav. So nav just means menu. So it's fulfilling the abstract role of a menu or a nav, but it's technically implemented as a div. So the function name OpenNav is common enough because basically they're just describing what they're doing. And so opening things is a very common operation. Nav is a very common element. Menu is a very common element. So you could see it could be called, open nav or open menu or open side menu or expand menu. Any of these would make plenty of sense.
Yeah, I agree. I can see why it's like named my side nav, and you're actually defining that. Hey, what is my side nav? Well, we're saying, hey, it's this menu of 250 pixels, basically, wide.
Yeah. So let me ask you a few questions. Go ahead.
I have some for you, but
yeah, dude, no, go first, please.
Okay, so basically, this portion right here, I don't even understand right now. I feel like can you just explain to me? I really don't know how to interpret this, right?
Awesome.
So I have document. Okay, go ahead.
By the way, whenever you do get to a place where this is super clear to you what's happening, then it will make sense why we use React.
Okay, let me make a quick guess though.
Okay.
So I think this is saying, hey, we're gonna have this function, which is like, hey, I'm telling you to like open the menu, right?
Yeah.
And like you can see, this is like closing. So everything within this is gonna be saying, I would think, how to actually open the menu.
Yep.
So that's like what the whole purpose of this is. But within this function, you're also actually, I don't understand. So you have this document, which I'm thinking is like a file, basically.
Yeah. What file do you think it would be?
I would think that's like the original file.
It's the index file. Yeah.
Like okay, but I don't understand what it's the index file of.
It's your HTML document that you have right in front of you.
Oh, so literally in my index.html, hold on, just give me a visual here. Okay. So I have my workspace, and then I go into my blog, and then I have this, which should be Google Chrome, but it's not. And here behind me, I have the actual code. So just bear with me here, connecting some dots. But yeah, so this is just saying that's the JavaScript. Okay, so yeah, I still don't get where this document is coming from, like where this file is.
It is that file.
Like I get that. I understand that.
If I said, what's your name? What would you say?
Jessica.
And I'd be like, who are you talking about? Like, where's this word coming from? You're talking about yourself.
Yeah, Jessie. Sorry.
Okay. So that's what the document is doing. Like, which document? Like the one that you wrote it in. It's talking about itself.
Oh, okay. So it just calls itself document.
Yes.
I'm thinking like, hey, why doesn't it call itself index.html?
That's an interesting question. The answer is because document is a generic term that refers to any HTML file that you write it inside of. So
say that one more time.
It's a generic term for any HTML document.
Yeah, so like what if I had another HTML document like right here below
Yeah.
index?
Or you can open your About Me folder, right?
Right.
Yeah, so what if you go to that index file, and what if you wrote document over there?
Well,
Then that would be like John talking about himself. So the document would still be talking about itself. It would just be a different document talking about itself. Does that make sense?
Oh, say it again for the people in back.
Okay, cool. Nick Hell says, "Is this JavaScript?" Unfortunately, yes. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So whenever we use the document API, one way that you can think about this, there's a bunch of different ways you can think about it, but just to keep it simple, one way you can think about it is that the JavaScript document is talking about its related HTML document. In your case, you have the script tag inside of the HTML tag. So it's very obvious which JavaScript is related to which HTML. It's the same file. In other cases, you could have like a script file that's separated, and you would need to ask the question like, which HTML file am I talking about? You would need to think about that. But in this case, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's the one that it's written inside.
Okay, now, I know you say this is a no-brainer because it's the one that it's written inside, and we see that JavaScript is written inside this overarching like side nav thing.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be directing the side nav, obviously. But I think, for my benefit, could I put a comment here that's like JavaScript of the side nav?
Sure. Write whatever you want. Yeah, if it's helpful for you.
You know what? Because not JavaScript of the side nav. It's like, how would I explain? So basically, of the index.html. No, that's like the. You don't really specify this. This is. Okay, if I went here and I was actually doing script, like JavaScript, and I was setting a side nav within my About Me section of my blog, at that point, do you think it would be smart to actually specify, or are you like, no, you would just clearly see that that script tag would be inside of a completely different page?
Yeah, so this is going to depend on developer, right? And what's obvious for one person is not obvious for another person. So write any comment that's going to help you. This is your code. But I'll tell you, for me, it's just like super obvious. Like like document means the related HTML file. And I know that the related like we're writing inside of an HTML file. So of course this is the related HTML file. But maybe other people wouldn't realize that. So.
Dude, I don't even want to type this comment because I know that it's live streaming, and I just know that I literally, I mean, nothing makes sense to me right now, right? I am like just learning this. So like I'm almost like, I don't want to get lost in here. I want to add a comment, but you know, I'm gonna skip that because I literally feel like my comments are so fucking dumb. So anyway, I'm just gonna remember this. Let's move forward.
Cool.
Oh, wait. Quick question.
Yeah.
So like, you know how I clicked that open and then it's pinned. So is this always permanently pinned now?
No. So let me ask my questions, because if you can answer my questions, you'll answer your own question. Because I feel like your question is like, why is this not pinned, right? Like why is it not permanent? And I'm gonna have you answer that question for yourself.
The hell?
So we know that the word document is referring to this HTML document. It's talking about itself.
Yep.
Right? Are we tracking?
Yep, we're tracking. I'm just eating beef jerky. I'm listening. Yep, this is true.
Okay, so document.getElementById, my side nav. What element is it talking about now?
It's talking about my side nav.
Where is it?
My side nav's right here.
Nope, that is JavaScript code. JavaScript is not elements.
Oh, yeah. See, I was looking down here to try to find it, and I couldn't find this. So, like, it says get element by ID. So somewhere we have an ID named my side nav.
Exactly.
So where would we have something like that? Now, bear with me. We would not have it in the HTML.
Yes, we would.
Why would we have it in the no, like in the body, you know?
Yeah.
Why the heck would we have it in the body? Hold on.
HTML defines elements. That's what it does.
Hold up. Wait a minute. See what we had here? Header tag, my blog. Now bear with me here. My blog, very straightforward. Now we're like adding not text. We are adding, here's that.
Well, there is text. The ... that will show up as text.
Where is this? Oh, boom, got him. You did school me there. Bear with me. Let's see, is there anything else? Open. Ooh, that would have been text too. And we clicked on that if we recall. There was open, ...
Hold on. Before you keep going, we clicked on it. What did it do when we clicked on it?
It opened our side nav.
Why?
Because we have a function set to open a menu.
But how were they connected?
How are these connected? Because when you click on the word open, it opens.
Yes, but why? It's because it says on click right there, Jess.
Yeah, because we have a function set.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see how the HTML is still controlling everything. So the HTML, line 102, what programming language does that use? Is it CSS, JavaScript, or HTML?
This you're saying is HTML.
Yeah, line 102 is HTML. That's right. So
I don't. Yeah.
You don't what?
I know that it's HTML because you said that, but like I don't get why it's not JavaScript.
So what does line 102 define? What does it define?
The span open nav, like the menu. It defines the menu. What? No, it defines what happens when you click on the menu.
No. It defines a span. It defines a span. Refresh your HTML page. This is going to make more sense if you refresh the page. Because now that you click the button, you forgot all about it. So you see right there how it says open?
Yeah.
That's what line 102 makes.
Yep.
So that's an element. Does that make sense? What is an HTML element? It's a piece of content. It's a thing that shows up on the page because we have it inside the body.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the on-click thing, like you can forget that exists and it would still say open right there. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so this is all HTML. Now, on-click is an HTML attribute. Do you remember about that, or should we go over attributes again?
See, I'm always confusing CSS features with attributes. Hold on. Functions. Hold on. Yeah, so bear with me, but you remember function? Where was that? Here we go. So JavaScript has functions. Tell me if this is accurate. JavaScript is to function as HTML is to attributes.
Maybe, yeah, possibly, depending on what you mean.
Okay, well.
But yeah, basically JavaScript does have functions. The idea of an HTML function, that doesn't really make sense.
Okay, thank you.
CSS functions kind of exist, but let's not talk about them. That's like a super advanced topic.
Okay, word.
Cool.
So
we want to talk about CSS rules at the basic level. CSS rules. And JavaScript functions and HTML what?
CSS rules, HTML. Wait. JavaScript functions.
Yep.
And HTML attributes.
Attributes. Yeah, I would say HTML elements, but yeah, attributes works. Okay, cool. So on-click is an HTML attribute, so it's still HTML.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what happens on click is it triggers OpenNav. So your HTML is triggering JavaScript.
Your HTML is triggering JavaScript. Oh, okay. Because we have defined on click to mean OpenNav. Is this right?
Yeah. So you can see how HTML is controlling JavaScript. because your HTML is telling the JavaScript when to run.
Yeah.
Now, once the JavaScript is triggered, then the JavaScript kind of takes control. So HTML says, hey, do the script. And then in terms of like, but what is actually going on? Now we have to look inside the script.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
So what actually is going on?
Well, what's going on is we are as far as the function, we're giving this command. So on click, we're going to open the menu essentially, but also it's important to note that the actual word open will also show. So this is what we can click on essentially. That's what we're seeing to click on. So on click should be, or I'm sorry, open nav should be an element essentially that's of the function and element have to be kind of related here, if this makes any sense.
Yeah, so we're clicking an element and that triggers a function when we click the element.
Yes.
What kind of element are we clicking?
A nav element?
No, we're clicking a span element technically.
Oh, we're clicking, okay.
Yeah, we're clicking a span element technically. It's being used as a nav and kind of like casual talk and non-technical discussion.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so the user is using it like a menu, but technically it is a span element. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. So from the top, make it drop. I'm just kidding.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Boom.
So what just happened and why?
Magic, baby, because we're magic. So
I mean, yes. Yes.
Well, what just happened is the function that we just saw, we literally saw like what we told it to do, because we saw the function of the open nav element, of the span element.
We saw the function of the span element. I mean, that's kind of true, but what did it do? Like, what does this function do, technically?
It opened the menu.
Yeah.
The navigation menu.
Yep, but how?
Through JavaScript.
I want you to read line 79. I want you to translate line 79 into English. So everything you're saying is true, but you're not giving me, like, technically how is it doing it. So what does line 79 do?
Yeah, so, okay, so sorry. So line 79 is saying, hey, so we're going to open up this thing. Okay, we're going to open up this file, and this, we're going to open up this element that's called, it's called my side nav.
Yeah.
And so, like, hey, what is my side nav? Well, if we look down here, that's kind of cool, right? Like, as we highlight it, it like highlights all the my side navs.
Yeah.
So, like, as we see right here, we have this div element, right? And we have an attribute, the ID attribute. And so we've actually told the attribute that it is my side nav through these like quotes. Wait a minute, I don't know. Class. We'll come back to this.
So classes are for style, so that's going to let it look a certain way. But when we do get element by ID, it's using the ID attribute.
Perfect. So what we saw happen here is we actually clicked on it. We saw the function of opening this file called my side nav, and so that's what it did. It opened it up, and my side nav, as we can see down here, is very, very defined. So it's not only called my side nav, but what did we see? Yeah, we saw all of this.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job. So let me add some details. So on line 79, when we talk about document, we did not open a file. It just referred to itself. So it said, I am going to get my element that has an ID, my side nav, like the current web page. So notice how it changed the current web page as opposed to changing a different web page.
Yeah.
Right? So get element by ID, you're right, it maps to that div over there. And you said it opened it, but my question is still, how did it open? So I'll just go ahead and answer it at this point. If you keep reading through the line, it changed the style by changing the width to be 250 pixels.
Okay.
So it made the width of the div 250 pixels. So how many pixels wide do you think it was before that happened?
Like 0.
Right. So it went from 0 to 250. So that's why it looks like it opened. Really, it was just changing the width. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So all of this to circle back to your old question at the very beginning, why does it persist there forever? And we said it doesn't. And now we should be able to know how it doesn't.
Yeah. I was saying, I think that it would have to do with this. Am I in the right spot?
Yep.
Where did it just go?
You can just
Okay,
control.
anyway.
You can just control Z.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So this is kind of confusing me. JavaScript for
yeah. So I'll just translate that real quick. So an A is an anchor tag, which is usually a hyperlink. And so the href will tell you what web page to open. And we're doing this weird thing here where we basically say, actually don't open a web page. That's what it's doing right there with JavaScript void 0. It's saying, just kidding, don't really open a web page.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be a link that does not open a web page.
Gotcha. And then it says this class close button. This looks like it's not going to open, and then it's like set to basically close.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all correct. So let's dive into three details here. So one would be class. What do you think the class attribute does?
I thought that it was like a style function.
Yeah, that's right. So do you remember how to put a CSS rule on a class? Do you remember?
CSS rule. I thought you had to define the. No, I don't.
You can figure this out super easy. So, like, where's our CSS in this page?
Up top.
Yeah, and we know that we're trying to do a CSS rule for what class?
For what class?
Yeah.
That is our close button.
Okay, so let's try to look around and find it.
Close button.
There it is. There it is. So now that you're looking at line 48, do you remember the syntax? First of all, do you remember what the word syntax means?
Nope.
Okay, so syntax is the things that we type.
Yo, wait. Hello?
Can you hear me? You're kind of cutting in and out, but I'm waiting. Can you hear me? Oh no, I lost your audio again, Jess. Z and Oslo, thank you for the follows. And thanks to everyone for the likes. We're over 1.7K. That's amazing. Hey, Jess, I might kick you, and then you can rejoin, and that might fix your audio. So if you can fix your audio yourself in the next 10 seconds, cool. Otherwise, I'm going to kick you out of the Zoom. Boom. Cool. All right. She left before I kicked her. All right. I think she's going to rejoin momentarily. Cool. I think we're into our last 10 minutes of Jessie's code, and then I might do 10 minutes of my own code, and that'll wrap up the stream today. General Q. Why not have a separate CSS file? The answer is because this is a